The Giants had quite the eventful weekend with the Boston Red Sox coming to town, with Rafi Devers now sporting the orange and black on the other side opposing his former team. After dropping the first game, the Giants managed to bounce back and win two straight, capturing a hard-fought series victory. We'll break it all down here. I am your host, Darius Lott, and this is Second and King. Welcome to Second and King.
From high, it's a deep, it is out of here!
Your one-stop shop for everything San Francisco Giants.
And there's a shot, deep right field by Crawford. Adios, Pelota!
And now, here's your host, Darius Lott.
Yeah.
And welcome back, you guys, to another edition of Second and King. As I said at the top, I am your host, Darius Lott. And today we're going to be discussing the Giants' recent three-game series victory over the Boston Red Sox. A very emotional series, one that had a lot of headlines, plot lines going into it from the baseball media. You know, we're officially over a week now after the Rafael Devers trade, the trade that stunned the baseball world, stunned a lot of us, especially us here, Giants fans. We weren't expecting one, to even make a trade this big, this early, and two, to make one for a player of Rafael Devers' caliber. But here we are. We're over a weekend. Rafael Devers is a San Francisco Giant, and that still feels weird to say, but I think with time it'll kind of just become like, oh yeah, he's a Giant now, you know. But yeah, coming in, the Giants were they came off losing the 2 games to 3 in Dodger Stadium to the Dodgers. Came home for a 3-game set against the Guardians and dropped the first 2 before bouncing back to avoid being swept, winning the 3rd game. So they were looking to, get back in the series win column. Hadn't won one since the Colorado series where they took 2 of 3. So it was big and, a tough challenge with the Red Sox. While they may not be the best team in baseball, they are a tough team. They are a gritty team. They have a lot of young talent. They bolster one of the top prospects in all of baseball in Roman Anthony. And, they're always going to be a tough out, especially on their pitching side. Andrew Bailey, the former pitching coach for the Giants, we've seen him work wonders for that staff and, of course, what he's done for us. But the Giants, it did not get off to the best start in Game 1. They dropped that by a final of 7-5. And it's the same old song and dance in this one. 2 for 10 with runners in scoring position. Just couldn't find the big hit. They tried to, rally a little bit late, but not only, with the bats, cold, the Giants played a pretty sloppy game, all things considered, especially on defense. Christian Koss did not have his best game at second base. He looked pretty bad, pretty pedestrian out there. And the Red Sox took advantage of those miscues, at second base. Funny enough, they would have their own issues at second base, and they had one in this game that led to the first run by the Giants. They actually scored first. They were up to a 3-0 lead before things just kind of broke down on them. Hayden Birdsong with probably his worst outing so far in 2025. Went 4 1/3, allowed 7 hits, 5 runs, 4 earned, 1 walk and 4 strikeouts. He struggled mightily. Sean Jelly, he followed him out of the bullpen. Eric Miller, Lucchesi, Walker, Bivens, and that was kind of it. Kind of a pedestrian game for the Giants. Didn't get a long outing from the starter Birdsong. 2 for 10, like I said, with runners in scoring position. Shoddy defense. Just wasn't a recipe for success for the Giants, and they dropped that game 7-5. So you're kind of like in this mode now where you have to win the next 2 games. And, day baseball, the following game, Game 2, the Giants rebounded, and they took Game 2 by a final of 3-2. Stop me if you've heard this before. another one-run victory for the Giants, because that's kind of just all we've been doing lately, it feels like. Funny enough, they were leading this game for the most part, 3-0 going into the ninth, and then Camilo Doval he was hit around a little bit, 3 hits, 2 earned runs. Thankfully, he did not give up anymore. He was able to lock it down and record his 12th save. But Giants, again, their hitting woes continued in this. Only 4 hits total in this game, 0 for 2 with runners in scoring position. So they managed to not even make many opportunities for themselves, but they were able to get it done nonetheless. And Landon Roop had a strong outing. He bounced back after his rough start at Dodger Stadium. He went 6 solid innings, only allowed 3 hits, 3 walks, and struck out 7 Boston Red Sox. So amazing job by him. Amazing job done by the pen overall, I would say. Doval, of course, he got hit around a little bit, but I think he did well enough, all things considered. He got the win, which is the most important part. But this game is particularly noteworthy because, well, one, Elliot Ramos with his 13th home run of the season. He homered in the prior game as well, making it his 12th, so 2 straight days with a home run. But we also saw the first home run for Rafael Devers as a San Francisco Giant, number 16. And if you're familiar with Rafi and the way his swing, his swing path is, one of the things he does very well, and he's done this throughout his career, is he is excellent at going the other way. He will go with the pitch, and he drives the ball to all fields. He's not just exclusively a pull power hitter. He's got power to all fields, and we got a glimpse of that in this game where, pitch just, going away from him, and he just takes it the other way out to the left field bleachers. And we've seen him do that in Fenway over the high, the Green Monster, the high wall in left. Well, there's no wall. There's no high wall in left at Oracle Park. So I can definitely get used to him driving the ball out to the left field bleachers with power more often. That's something with his swing he can do a lot more. But yeah, those was really the standouts of this game. Not much to speak of on the offensive front. It was just Devers did his thing with his first home run, and Landon Roop in the bullpen did the rest. So the series, is even at a game apiece. So we got a rubber match on Sunday. I was actually in attendance for this one because I had to get my hands on one of those Jung-Hoo Lee hooded jerseys that they were giving out. And quick side note, I'm going to go on a mini tangent here. The lines were insane. I took the ferry in, and then I made a nice leisurely walk to the ballpark. I was about a few feet from the ballpark. I was at Pier 48, and then that's when I saw people were already lined up at the Second and King gate, and then the line for the Willie Mays gate wrapped not just around the ballpark, but down the Lefty O'Doul Bridge out towards the opposite side of the bay, where Willie McCovey's statue is, McCovey Cove. And man, yeah, it was insane. I entered through the Marina Gate. It was the shortest line, and it was the fastest line, and I just did get there in time to get my Jung-Hoo Lee hooded jersey. And I got there early. I got there plenty early, but I wasn't as early as these other people. They look like they camped out for the night for this giveaway. So, but a packed house. They are packing the seats at Oracle Park these days, and that's a good feeling to see, because there was a time where it wasn't, being filled, and interest was waning in the team. So to see the fan base rejuvenated, getting out to the yard, looking forward to cheering on the team, it's a great feeling, So That was really good to see, and I was glad that I was around for this particular game because what a game. This one had a lot of spirit, played with a lot of intensity because both were looking for a series victory. I don't know how the Red Sox feel. Well, I mean, I might have an idea of how they feel about Rafi now that he's on the other side. And of course the Giants want to win this series, just to keep pace in the National League West race as well as the wild card race. They want to keep their playoff aspirations alive and keep them going strong. So it was a pivotal game for both clubs, and they played like it too. And Red Sox got the scoring going in the first inning with a very, I don't even want to say uncharacteristic play by Elliot Ramos because it's weird. He's had games like this where he just makes weird blunders in the outfield, whether it's getting bad jumps, bad routes, poor decisions. Just this just ranks up there with some of them. But sometimes he'll amaze you with an amazing splash play where he dives and makes a catch. I can't tell if he's a good outfielder or not. I don't know. I see flashes of him being a good outfielder, and then I see what I saw in this first inning. So it was an error on him. He drops a fly ball that should have been caught by Ramos. Jarren Duran hit it off his bat, and it looked like just a simple bloop. It wasn't like a line drive or anything. It had some air under it. And he runs in, and I don't know if he took his eyes off of it or the sun got in his eye. It hits off the top of his glove, and it just falls in for a base hit, and a run scores, and that just makes Robbie Ray have to throw more pitches. Robbie Ray, who wasn't particularly sharp on this day, allowed a few more home runs. He allowed some in his last start as well. Hoping that's not a occurring trend for Robbie Ray as we enter the summer months. And when you enter the summer months, warmer weather, ball tends to travel when it gets hit in the air. So hopefully Robbie can keep the ball down. He can avoid bats like he has been doing since the start of the year. But he went 5 innings, 8 hits, 4 runs, 3 earned, 1 walk, still struck out 7. So, not the typical Robbie Ray start we would like to see, but overall, you can't help it. And it also didn't help that the Giants played poor defense. And that wasn't the only, oh my God, I almost forgot about this. That wasn't the only error that inning. The Giants committed 2 errors, and they both happened in the first inning. And before the Ramos error, Patrick Bailey, when he was throwing the ball back to Ray after a pitch, rather than, get up and, give him, throw the ball competently to him, he decides to just throw a lame duck that kind of bounces in front of Ray off the mound, gets under his glove, past him, in kind of that no man's land between the mound and second base. And we got, I think it was Roman Anthony. Yeah, I can't remember. I think it was Roman Anthony advanced to third. And then that, along with the Elliot Ramos, botched fly ball, allowed that run to score. So again, more just awful defense on display by the Giants. So they're down. They weren't down for long though. They rallied in the bottom of the third. Elliot Ramos with a 2-run single. That was the beginning of him making up for that error earlier. So he comes through with the clutch hit with 2 outs to get the Giants on the board. Rafael Devers did get thrown out trying to advance to third. So they led for a bit. Rafaela, I'm not sure how to say his first name, but I should, given how much he killed us in this series. hits a double. He almost gets the run to come home, but a beautiful play by Mike Yastrzemski in right. He plays the ball off the wall, throws the ball into Fitzgerald, who then makes the relay to Patrick Bailey, and they get him at home plate. Granted, he ran out of the baseline, so he was called out. So that was an example of some good defense on display by the Giants. But the Red Sox in the top of the fifth would eventually go back ahead with a 2-run shot by Rob Refsnyder. And then a batter later, Romy Gonzalez would homer to left field. And just like that, the Giants are down 4-2. So they need a spark. They need a little bit of thunder themselves. Bottom fifth, Casey Schmitt, who I'm going to talk a little bit more about this episode, would get his first, I believe this is his first of, or maybe it's his second. He had 4 hits on this game. And this was one of the big ones. He hit his 4th home run to left field, and it was an absolute screamer. It like jumped off his bat, got out in a hurry, and he hit it with such force that it hit off the top of the wall and skipped over into the seats in left. And he hit this at 111 miles per hour. Just an absolute screamer. So then Giants trail 1. Well, Mike Yastrzemski comes up and hits his first home run, and God, I can't even remember the last time Yaz homered. But since April, I think would have been his last home run. He hits his 6th on a fly ball to right, and just like that, we're tied. 2 home runs in that inning. So, just like that. So, 2 home runs in the bottom of the 5th for the Giants, and then 2 for the Red Sox in the top of the 5th. So, 4 total home runs in that inning. Well, then we fast forward to the next inning, top of the 6th. Rafael strikes again. This time, he does drive in a run. He drives in himself with his 8th home run of the year. And just like that, the Giants trail 5-4 yet again. And the Giants would eventually rally in the 7th. Casey Schmitt with his 3rd hit. He hits this double down the right field line after Willie Adames single. So they have it set up 2nd and 3rd with nobody out. Bailey is retired. And then Tyler Fitzgerald, who, while his hitting right now isn't the best, his bunting still very good, because he was able to execute a perfect safety squeeze that allowed Casey Schmitt to score. And just like that, the Giants tie at 5-5. And then some more of that second base fielding woes that the Red Sox have had come into play when Mike Yastrzemski comes up. He lines the ball. He was very much out in front, and he hit it off the end of the bat with some top spin, and I guess that kind of got to Romy Gonzalez. It skips off his glove and slowly rolls into right center field, and that allows Casey Schmitt, who was at 3rd base, to score, and the Giants retake the lead. And then they continue. Rafael Devers comes up, hits a bullet in the right field, so 1st and 2nd. This is all with 2 outs, by the way. And then Elliot Ramos, again, has another make-good hit, a double down the right field line, scores both Yaz and Devers. I did not see that coming. I thought Rafi was getting ready to get thrown out again, but they don't even throw the ball at home plate. So they take the lead back, and they add on. Now they're up 8-5. Another great defensive play is on display. Jarren Duran comes up, hits a line drive, I believe on the very first pitch, by Tyler Rogers, who had just come into the game. Mike Yastrzemski plays it very well. He gets to it, and he just has a one-hop throw to second, and Duran had it beat. You know, he was definitely safe, but he overslid the bag just by a few, like an inch. Like, he was that much off the bag, and Willie having the wherewithal to lunge and tag him before, just the slightest minuscule second before he got his fingertip back on the second base bag. And they, of course, reviewed it, and the call was confirmed. It was it stood, and he was out. Duran got tossed for arguing, as well as Red Sox manager Alex Cora. And that was another one of those big momentum shift plays in the game that happened. Bottom of the 8th, Willie Adames hits his 9th home run of the season to left. Hopefully, I feel like I keep saying this, but I'm hoping that gets him going again and continues a very good trend. I feel like having Rafael Devers and others around will only help Willie kind of settle in more. And they're gonna need him. They got Devers, but they definitely still need production from Willie Adames. So hopefully that's coming, and it's coming soon, and it comes with more regularity. So yeah, the Giants win this one 9-5. Wait, they won a game by more than a single run. So you're telling me they are capable they are capable of doing this sometimes. So that was a good thing to see. They went 2 for 8 with runners in scoring position in this one. Not great, but hey, you'll take it. You'll take the win any day. But showed a lot here. Showed their ability to drive in runs. So yeah, hopefully they can do that. And they'll have a good opportunity to do that in this upcoming stretch. They have the Marlins coming in tomorrow night. So, below 500 team. They play the Giants tough in Miami, but the Giants should be able to walk away with a series victory then. They head on the road. They got the White Sox in Chicago. They got the Arizona Diamondbacks in Arizona, and then I believe, did I get ahead of myself? No, I think they have the A's after that on the road as well in Sacramento. So a pretty, I'd say, favorable stretch of games against some favorable opponents, but you still got to go out there, you still got to perform, and you got to execute. So if they can play more akin to what they played on Sunday versus what they played, prior, then I think they're in good shape. So we will see about that. But Giants take 2 out of 3. That's the main thing. They win the series. They get back on the horse. And I talked about Casey Schmitt earlier, and Casey has been absolutely outstanding since filling in for the injured Matt Chapman. He began the day with a 112 weighted runs created plus, and he finished with a 137 weighted runs created plus. That's insanely good. He's been absolutely outstanding since he's gotten to play every day. And he's one of those guys I mentioned in my earlier episodes about players that the Giants would like to see what they have in. Well, with more consistent playing time, you can see what Casey Schmitt has to offer. We all know what he can do defensively. And if it wasn't for the Giants having Matt Chapman locked up long term, I could see a world where the Giants might consider Casey Schmitt to be the everyday third baseman, because he is really good at third. I actually feel, that's his natural position. He just looks so good there. But when Chapman eventually comes back, I could see them easily just sliding Casey over to second, especially in the wake of, the struggles of Christian Koss and Tyler Fitzgerald at that position. And with the way Casey is swinging the bat, it's kind of hard to take him out of the lineup. So I wouldn't be surprised at all. And I think that's the right move once Chapman is back healthy. Casey is the prime example of someone who, with time and actual improvement, you see what he is capable of. Like, this is a guy who has put in outstanding work since he was first called up. This is a guy, I believe he was called up in 2022, and he came in, guns blazing. He was on fire, and then the league started to figure him out. He was very aggressive at the plate, didn't walk a ton, but now you see the improvement steadily in his at-bats. And at times, I feel Casey has the best at-bats in the lineup, of the guys in the team so far. With the offense that's struggling, his at-bats typically are the best ones, and they sparked a couple of rallies, especially on that Sunday game. He did very well to get them going. His home run after they fell behind 4-2 really jolted the offense. So I give Casey a lot of credit there. So yeah, I would like to see more Casey Schmitt going forward. 4-hit day, his average is up to 286, and his OPS is up to 831. Incredible. And he's been hitting over 400 since he took over at third base in the absence of Matt Chapman. That's insane. That gives you an idea how good he is. And it's the first 4-hit game of the season for him. It's just the second time he's done that in his career. So yeah, I look forward to seeing more Casey Schmitt. Gotta shout out the bullpen. The bullpen ERA in the 7th inning or later is the lowest in the bigs with 2.11. When the Giants get a lead, they are pretty hard to stop, and they only get tougher the later the game goes with the lead. So that's always good. Playing really good baseball so far. Elliot Ramos too, 135 weighted runs created plus. That's the 6th amongst qualified outfielders in the National League, 14th among NL outfielders with a 1.5 F-WAR. So yeah, I think it's no secret he should be an all-star for the 2nd straight year. I have seen the leaderboards, and I gotta tell you, every time I see those, I just want fan voting completely gone from the all-star voting process, because it's absolutely ridiculous. But yeah, the Giants continue to play well. Off day today on Monday as I'm recording this. They are 12-8 in the month of June. Favorable matchups, like I said, coming up. White Sox, Marlins, so they can have an opportunity to really put a really good run together in this coming stretch. But that's going to do it for me on this edition of Second and King. If you enjoyed this episode, make sure you like the video. If you are listening on YouTube, make sure you hit that like button. And if you are not subscribed, please do hit that subscribe button. Hit the notification bell as well. Let you know anytime I drop a new episode of the podcast. For my listeners on Spotify and Apple Music, please do leave a rating and review. Your feedback is always appreciated, and I look forward to hearing what you guys have to say. But like I said, that's going to do it for me. Enjoy the off day with no Giants baseball. We'll get back after it on Tuesday against the Marlins. I am your host, Darius Lott, and as always, go Giants.